What's going on, guys and gals? Your host Steve back again with another film review on the Geek Boulevard channel. I have seen Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Full disclosure, I have not seen all of the Mission Impossible films. I've only seen Ghost Protocol, so before going in, I brushed up just a little bit on some of the plot of the previous films, but it is worth noting that you should at least watch Rogue Nation and Fallout, that's the 5th and 6th film, before seeing this film, as characters that are introduced in those movies return for this one. So with that out of the way, let's get into the positives, the negatives, and my overall score. Some slight spoilers might follow in this review, so just to be safe, view at your own discretion. This chapter is once again directed by Christopher McQuarrie. It is rated PG-13 with a runtime of 2 hours and 43 minutes. Now here's a little brief synopsis of the plot of the film. Ethan Hunt and the IMF team must track down a terrifying new weapon that threatens all of humanity if it falls into the wrong hands. With control of the future and the fate of the world at stake, a deadly race around the globe begins. Confronted by a mysterious, all-powerful enemy, Ethan is forced to consider that nothing can matter more than the mission, not even the lives of those he cares about most. Starting off with my positives, the cast is just great. Tom Cruise just nails it as Ethan Hunt, and I would say this chapter in the franchise is his most demanding yet. The guy puts his life on the line so much to do these crazy stunts and make them as believable as possible because he, like all of us, is a fan of movies and he wants to deliver that experience each and every time, no matter how much he might actually get hurt in the process. Haley Atwell makes her introduction into the franchise and she blew me away with her performance. Her chemistry with Cruise is very natural and the way they coordinate in action scenes was really exceptional. Newcomer Pom Clementia from Guardians fame, you guys might know her as Mantis, plays a French assassin named Paris, and I gotta say, I got serious John Wick vibes from her. She easily appears as if she just jumped out of a John Wick movie. It's just crazy. She seems pretty unhinged and doesn't have too many lines, but her physical performance really grabbed my attention, so it was cool to see her in a franchise like this, holding her own to the likes of Tom Cruise. Simon Pegg and Ving Rhames return as the techie part of the IMF family, and they do their jobs well and provide solid comic relief, especially from Pegg. The jokes felt natural and not forced or cringy in any way, so I commend them for that. Now, the action in this movie is just baffling as to how well done it actually is. There's a really well shot extended car chase with Cruise and Atwell that was just paced so well and gradually upped the ante as the sequence progressed. McQuarrie and Cruise's collaboration are so much in sync here. The creative synergy, it just works. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Each action sequence throughout the story is just upped each time, and I honestly don't know how they're able to do it so successfully. Now, as I mentioned before, the film is running close to 3 hours, and in my honest opinion, I did not feel the runtime whatsoever. It was paced really well, and as soon as the credits rolled, I just felt such satisfaction from the experience and told myself that was the quickest 3 hours of my life. Movies nowadays are getting closer and closer to hitting that 3 hour mark more commonly, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but I feel in this instance, with the amount of characters in this film and the story presented, the runtime is definitely needed. Now, on to my negatives. And really, it is only just one negative, and that is the film's villain. Isai Morales plays Gabriel, who is from Ethan's past, who Ethan thought was long dead. Now, this type of writing is a tough conundrum to crack at times, I will admit, as, you know, when a franchise is going and there's been multiple films in that franchise and you introduce a character that has supposedly known the main character for as long as the franchise has been going, you introduce them in the latest film and it just seems kind of jarring because that character was never mentioned before, never brought up before or alluded to in any way, and that's the case here. He was never mentioned in previous films. Now, the argument can be made that, well, he died, so that's why he was never brought up. While I do agree that making the villains someone from Ethan's past can be compelling if done right, it probably wouldn't have mattered too much if he was not connected to Ethan on a personal level. Isai does a decent job of conveying that cold and calculating presence, but it would have been more fitting if his character had a little more personality to him than just trying to achieve his goal at any means necessary. Overall, this was a solid, action-packed thrill ride of the highest caliber. The action is so well choreographed with minimal CGI in most of it, which I appreciate. The performances have never been better, and the way the film juggles this huge cast and makes the runtime feel worth it is a huge feat. The villain is rather weak in his portrayal, but there is going to be a part 2, so I anticipate he will be more fleshed out in that film. Overall, I score Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 4 out of 5 stars. What I want to know now is, what did you think of it? Have you seen it yet? Where does it sit on your ranking of the Mission Impossible movies? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. As always, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And while you're at it, subscribe to my channel where I talk about video games and movies. Until next time, folks, keep it classy and keep it geeky.